Okay, we're live. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat, sa ating mga kausapan. Of course, kasama ko si Doc D.
At si Attorney E.
Dito sa Usapang Ed.
Oh, wow. Ano ba to? Ano ba to? Healthcare ba to? Healthcare? Bakit may PAPSCU cares?
Usapang HMO ba ngayon? Bakit may cares? Nasaan na naman tayo ngayon? Nasa
Ay, hindi
location
ko alam. Nasaan ba tayo? Wait, wala siyang pa-logo. Okay, the logo is PAC and PAPSCU because we're here in the PAPSCU Cares Assembly.
Yan. So,
Okay, asan ang mga taga-PAPSCU? Palakpak kayo mga taga-PAPSCU.
yan. The Philippine Association of Private Schools, Colleges and Universities.
Yes.
And of course, andito tayo ngayon sa University of Batangas, Lipa.
In Lipa.
In Lipa.
The University of Batangas has stood as a premier pillar of academic excellence in the Philippines. Founded in 1946 by 6 visionary leaders, the institution remains deeply rooted in its core values of spirit, intellect, and purpose. As a recognized autonomous university and an ISO-certified institution, it has consistently proven its commitment to global standards.
The University of Batangas Lipa City continues its mission of building the next big thing. At the College of Engineering and Architecture, we carry the vision of our founding fathers to innovate, design, and build a better future for Batangueños and beyond.
At the University of Batangas, Lipa City, the College of Health Sciences offers Bachelor of Science in Nursing and Bachelor of Science in Medical Technology. UB Batangas now also offers Bachelor of Science in Speech Pathology, making it one of only 5 universities nationwide that offer this program, ensuring our commitment to specialized and forward-thinking healthcare education. With our modern facilities and hands-on training, UB helps you grow and excel in healthcare, shaping you to become competent, confident, and ready for the real world.
So, are you still deciding where to go for senior high school? Here's why UB Lipa really hits different. In UB High School, learning is more hands-on. You build skills and confidence aligned with our goal of navigating your best educational journey. And UB has always been ahead since 2017. We were already using the LMS, so learning has always continued no matter what. UB Batangas City is a pilot school for the strengthened senior high school curriculum, and UB Lipa is more than ready to follow those best practices as it rolls out this coming school year. So clearly, UB, undeniably the best.
Beyond academic rigor, the University of Batangas is celebrated as a home of champions. It provides a holistic environment where students thrive in culture, the arts, and athletics, fostering a community that values character as much as competence. From its historic beginnings to its modern-day triumphs, the university continues to shape the next generation of leaders. This is University of Batangas, undeniably the best, still ahead and always will be.
So, we're very excited to see all of you. Actually, walang kamalay-malay ang PAPSCU
Ako din,
na
wala akong
mag-uusapang ed tayo dito. Walang kamalay. What just happened is that we were both invited to this, to the forum today, and we realized, sayang naman, nandiyan naman na
Yes.
kayo, o di mag-usapang ed na tayo dito. We're showing this on Monday. Right?
So Monday yun. So yung nanonood ngayon, Monday ngayon, gabi ngayon.
Hindi nga. We're recording it today, Friday, but we will show it on Monday. Okay, so.
Usapang ano ngayon? So, usapang PAPSCU at ang PAPSCU sa Philippine Association of Private Schools, Colleges and Universities. Ang mga member schools ito ay mga community schools. They are family-owned. Most or majority all are founded by families. No? So, usapang family-owned schools. No? Okay ba yun?
Sige, mag-aaral na ako sa
Okay,
no, because everybody knows, I suppose, that in Cocopea, you have the Catholic schools, no? You have the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities. These are the HEIs, no, mostly. And then you have the Christian schools. And then one of the members of Cocopea is PAPSCU. So this is the Philippine Association of Private Schools, Colleges, and Universities, and all those who are here right now are members of PAPSCU. So we're very happy to have the officers of PAPSCU.
Yes.
Right, so this is why it's daming
Hindi nila
upuan.
alam na guest pala sila.
Tsaka maraming upuan, no? Maraming pang mic. Okay, so we'll call them.
Sige, ikaw muna.
Ako muna. Okay. We'll start with the president of PAPSCU. Oo, kasi lahat ng episodes, siya ay nanonood. So, lagi siya comment. From commenter to panelist. Okay, we'd like to call Dr. Royce Torres,
Ito, Royce Torres.
president of PAPSCU and president of Iligan Medical College. Wow. Oh, may masasabi. Ngayon may mukha na yung Royce Torres. Kasi
Hindi siya
comment na
handa.
comment
Hindi siya
eh.
naganda. Hindi siya naganda. Pero nakasuit siya.
Oo. Parang ikaw. Di ba matulog mo yan, di ba?
Pagtulog ko, mag-swimming nakasuit ako.
Okay.
Welcome.
Bakit ang layo mo? Hindi ka makukuhanan. Dito ka, sir. Dito ka,
Kahit sa
sir.
uupo, unahin ka namin tatanungin.
Okay.
So,
Next. Ikaw na.
next is the president of Berkeley, Baguio, si Miss Cristel Charisco. Also the vice president of PAPSCU.
Ang unang tanong sa kanya is, bakit Cristel?
Yun ang tatanong, sasagutin niyo pa yan. Bakit nga ba Cristel?
Okay. Next.
Good afternoon, Charis.
Okay, we'll make them greet later. Sige. Now, I'd like to call, of course, the immediate past president of PAPSCU, president of St. Michael's College of Laguna, Dr. Lourdes Almeida Cese. Our program chair, of course, for this event, Dr. Lourdes Almeida Cese.
Former faculty chair. And then, of course, another member of the board of trustees of PAPSCU, Ms. Monica Ang, the president of the Manila Times College, Subic. Next gen, so these are all family.
Oh, we have one more, the president of the University of Batangas. Oo. So where is the president of the University of Batangas? Ayun. Ayan. Mukhang nagpupunong abala pa siya. Oo. Kasi nandito tayo ngayon sa University of Batangas. Okay, present. We'll have
Okay, woo! Wala para na.
No, we're Kasha. Kasha ba? Sige, we'll... Ayun, nice. That's okay na. Oo, they're Kasha. Ayan. Para silang doon. Parang yung, parang napanood ko na yan eh. Oo, di ba yung parang magbobotohan kung sinong unang ihuhulog pag masyadong masikip.
Mag-trip to Jerusalem ito. Bawasan ng couch. Music. Okay. Seryoso na.
We'll talk about the
Okay.
family homes.
How the schools, let's start with that. How did you get, or your family got into education service?
Okay, so they introduce themselves and then they'll talk about that. How did your family start in the education mission?
Since they're all pointing to me, I don't have a choice but to respond. I thought I would just be sitting here, okay. St. Michael's College of Laguna was the brainchild of one of my aunts, maternal aunts, Dr. Luisa Limaco de Leon. From Binyang, she and her husband relocated to Iloilo and they put up a hospital and a school. Now, it was the dream of my tita, Dr. Luisa, to replicate it and bring it to Binyang, her hometown. So what she did was to convince one of her sisters, who's our founder, Pura, to put up first the hospital and then the school. So, Binyang College noon, and the name of the hospital is Binyang Hospital, right, Gigi? Now, it was really the dream of my tita, Luisa, to perpetuate the philanthropic ideals of my grandparents, Miguel and Segunda. You know, my grandfather, Miguel, was a pure Chinese who was a stowaway. You know, he was very young. I don't even know how he landed to Binyang from China. And when he was able to do so, he would, send students to school. Now, my aunt, Pura, do I have a time limit? Mahaba yung storya, right? No, I thought I wouldn't be speaking, but I'm really grateful that I'm able to share the history behind St. Michael's College of Laguna. So, our founder, Pura, she didn't finish college. She only finished high school college from Centro Escolar University. But I don't know, Chinese are known for their business acumen, right? Since 50% of her blood was Chinese, she was really able to, save, and she single-handedly put up Binyang College.
Very interesting. Siguro, mamaya, let's say the success stories. Very interesting. St. Michael's College of Laguna is almost at the right unit. These are all success stories. So, sige.
University of Batangas. Good afternoon po, University of Batangas. So I mentioned earlier, we are celebrating our 80th year. Wow. Yes, so we were founded 1946 after the Second World War. So there were 6 Batangueños. They were not related to each other. A priest, an educator, 3 lawyers, and a town mayor. And they saw all the devastation. And they thought to themselves, how can we help? Why don't we provide quality, accessible, affordable education to the Filipino youth? And in so doing, we help with nation building. Yun po ang kwento ng UB. So kami po, Dr. Abby Perez, you are here. Kami po ay 3rd generation na po kami. So one of the founders is the father of Secretary Nani Perez. One of the founders was my grandfather, so 3G na po kami. Yun ang kwento.
3G,
so,
third generation.
Third generation na.
Third generation.
Oo. Dati po kaming Western Philippine Colleges na renamed kami to University of Batangas.
Nakakatawa yung mga stories, no? So that was Binyan College, William St. Michael's, and then
Western Philippine
Western,
Colleges.
hindi West Philippine Sea.
And then,
Western.
Western Philippine Colleges po.
Okay, dito si Royce. Palibot, ayan.
Thank you.
Kasi nakita namin hindi humihinga si Monica. Okay, sige, ikaw na, Monica.
Baka malaglag sa upuan. Anyway, Monica.
Yung history ng school, just very briefly, like with Dr. Lulu, yung lola ko was also a stowaway. Kasi he married a Filipina. And because he was Chinese, he was, like, alis ka na sa family. So, my dad was they were very poor. Labandera yung lola ko. And at 7 years old, he asked the priest in St. Joseph to be his, parang sponsor siya for schooling. So, he lived in a convent for a while. Naging scholar siya na my dad. So, for him, very important yung education. So, when he was in college, pa rin siya, he was still a scholar ng mga priests sa Lasal naman, but he didn't finish it because he had to work. He was supporting his family. Then nag-busy na siya sa work, he dropped out of Lasal. He finished his studies at 60 in, I think, Letran. Yeah, 60 for his bachelor's. He did his master's, finished it at 62. Finished his doctorate at 64. Yes, so lifelong learning. So he would always, so for him, very important yung education. In the early 2000s, he acquired Manila Times, and there was a gap to fill because they couldn't hire writers. So because they couldn't hire good writers, they had to put up a school. So that was the Manila Times College, and it has expanded now to, we now have mostly medical programs. Our team is there. We have basic ed. Where's my team? Oh, there, over there. So, ayun, yun ang history. So, naka 2G kami, 2G. Yes, 2G. I recently, 2025, I assumed presidency. So, yan.
Very young.
Very, mas younger si Cherise.
So, younger.
Basta 91, kayo na mag-compute. Kasi kina-compute ko din.
President of Berkeley.
Right, so I think I'm the youngest school in the batch, 23 years. My parents were both UP professors. That was their very first profession. And then they got into business and community work. And when I was in elementary, we were in small private schools in Baguio. So uso po yun. We have 3 very big universities, but we also have very small schools. And when my dad picked us up during one dismissal day, he was so bothered with the facilities that he saw. And so he said, I think we can do something better. We can create a community school, a school where people actually know each other. Because yun po yung problem, di ba? Usually pag big universities, especially in Baguio, very tight po those schools. So he said, people are looking for a place where they actually know each other, where we can really focus on each child. And so we championed early on in 2002, multiple intelligences. Yun po yung unang-unang thrust ng school namin. And there, so we called it Berkeley School. It is a school that champions international standards. So sa pangalan pa lang, there's always a perception that it's an international school. Though we're still following the DepEd curriculum, but we're doing a lot of things in a progressive way. So it was in 2016 when I actually took over the school, when there was higher calling for my parents to join government.
Good. What about this guy?
Ito palagi ko, 1G ito. First gen din. First G ba?
First gen ba?
First G?
Oh, only G.
Only
Huh?
G.
The only G. Hindi,
Last
okay,
G.
right.
Anyway, good evening sa lahat ng mga taga-Iligan City. So actually, I'm 2G, second generation. Way back then, back in the 70s, my father was one of the founders of Iligan Medical Center Hospital. So it's just a hospital before. Then later on, they found that there is a need for nurses, physical therapists in the area, in northern Mindanao particularly. But for Iligan City, we don't have that kind of school that offers such courses. So they decided to open the Iligan Medical Center College. And you know, we started with only 35 students. So it grew.
Ilan na yan?
Secret.
36.
No, actually, we reached up to 3,500. There was a time 4,000. 4,000, 3,000. So it depends upon the situation. But
Siguro the history of this school is very telling for us to realize that it's not as if they started with, gusto namin magnegosyo, kaya kayo magtatayo ng school. I think it's never that kind of a story for all the schools which are, but that is a usual problem with private schools. The conception na, puro na yan, profiteering, mga private schools do not need help because marami ng mga pera yan. So how do we counter such kind of possible conception about private schools? Minsan may mga nagsasabi sa amin yan, ba't namin kayo tutulungan? Marami naman kayong pera, private kayo.
Sinong gustong unang sumagot? How do you manage the resources since it's family-owned, hindi, di ba?
Or how do we erase that kind of a
conglomerates,
conception?
yeah.
You can speak now as PAPSCU, for example. What concrete initiatives can we do so that we erase that conception? You don't need support, mayayaman kayo. Puro kayo negosyante and you're profiteering.
Na-stress naman ako sa tanong mo, ma'am. Let me tell you this. When we have our graduations, we are very accommodating. Is my registrar here? Dr. Nenet, are you here? So, we allow them to go on stage. They receive a folder, and you would assume that the diploma is there. And if they are fully paid, the diploma is there. If they are not fully paid, sometimes the diploma is not there because we'd like for them to come back and help us with the fees that they owe the school. And of course, what is that for? That's for the salary of our teachers and employees, right? But the point is, they talk to us and we allow it. They go up on stage with their parents, they feel that they really finished, but luckily, most of them naman, they come back. But if they would understand these stories, that we are very accommodating. In fact, a good number of them, they're not fully paid of their fees of the previous semester, and yet we allow them to come back, sometimes may promissory note, sometimes hindi. So that idea na hindi kailangan ng private school students, hindi ako klaro kung sino ba ang nagkikwento niyan. Kasi kailangan naman po talaga, which is why salamat po sa PAYAC, sa PAPSCU, for the assistance. Parang we can extend it to more and more students. Kasi again, going back, every time we do anything, right, we always remind ourselves, why did our founders build this school? To provide quality, affordable, accessible education to many Filipino students. So we always go back to that. So with that, hopefully, our community is aware naman na our clientele, not all of them can really afford all the fees that we ask them to pay. But of course, it is needed for us to fulfill our mission.
Royce.
In our case, it's like some sort of a mission, right? In our case, we want to produce good graduates, like especially for us medical, healthcare. We have actually sent a lot of nurses abroad, so it makes us, it's something that it's so satisfying for our institution, and we want to do that. We want to continually do that, so to produce good nurses around the world. Parang dyan ka lang na mission, and you don't even charge so much for our tuition fees as long as we can produce good graduates. Yun lang yung aming pinaka-goal, not much on the profit. So it's the mission that drives us forward.
I guess the strength of private is really the efficient use of resources. I think if we compare the cost of studying in government versus the cost of studying in private, we actually spend less on students, but we also spend very wisely. I think that's something the first generation must have taught most of us here in PAPSCU. It's really making sure that whatever you spend adds value to the education you deliver. And I guess that's a mindset that's important for family-owned schools. You have minimal resources, you have this much, you charge this much tuition, and every year you'll have this to decide, what can I allocate on so that I add more value to the students? Yeah. Which is masked by, hindi, mayaman naman kayo, marami kayong pinagagastosan. I think we're just very wise in what we spend on. That's why gumaganda yung campus, gumagaling yung teachers. Yeah.
Kami in Subic, our finance officer is here, no? Siya yung namomroblema about the cash. But what we do, kasi at the end of the day, schools are businesses, at least for the private. So you have to make sure you stay afloat. What we do in Subic is really on a personal level, or we really make sure our parents understand that these are our operational costs. We cannot survive if we don't charge you this. So I think it's that culture of openness also. Na, by the way, we're charging you this, but this is where it goes. Kasi again, like what Cherry said, no, the difference between the public and the private sector is we make sure talaga na the quality is there. We go for external, what's the word? Sorry, quality assurance. So we do have a lot of costs. So on our end, we just make sure we're open na hindi kami mo compare, we're just charging because this is the quality we want to give you.
Ano mga matataas na cost? Legal counsel cost.
Very, for the schools here, just letting you know, he's...
May lawyer mo, may kamahalan. Okay, Lulu, Dr. Sense. So the same, I think you've been chair of Cocopeya in the past, and there's always something that's said about private.
We cannot really put for private schools, put generalization, right? It's really the image that a particular school builds in its own community. I'm proud to say that for St. Michael's College of Laguna, we really embrace, in spite of the fact that given the programs, limited programs that we're offering, we want to be known to be an excellent community college. And we have embraced not only program accreditation for a small school, nag-ISO kami, and then first we're PAYAC certified. So that So we want, we how to call it, the ascribed status of St. Michael's being autonomous is something which for me is an indicator that we're not there for the money. And it's really true that we have to run our respective schools as a corporation. And the challenge for top management is how to address the delicate balance between the academic and the corporate culture. Right? Diba?
Yeah.
And, you know, we personally, since modesty aside, the stockholders are really, well, economically, we don't really, you know, we don't really depend on the income being generated by the schools. So since I'm being given you know, much liberty, I run it, even if in spite of the fact that we're a stock corporation, I run it like a foundation.
Oh, that's very good.
Right?
Good.
And we have so many scholarships. I've forgotten how to apply, how to increase tuition. I think more than a decade, we have not been increasing our fees. And I guess I owe it to our founder. Maybe this is the opportune time to give honor to somebody like Pura Limako. If you see her, you wouldn't even know that she has so much money. She single-handedly put up the school. And she just assigned the stocks kasi hindi na pwede single proprietorship. So it has to be a corporation. So each of her sister, she assigned stocks, right?
So now we know.
No, but you know, the success, yeah. Yung business acumen, and then the Limacos, you know, it's my maternal family, the Limacos. We're known in the community for the integrity, and when we put it up, as I said, to perpetuate the philanthropic ideals of Miguel. Miguel is my grandfather. Ang daming scholarship. Actually, we're second gen now, but maybe, I'm not sure if it's going to be part of your topic, the success planning. Because the second gen are also old. So the third gen, of course we have 1 year, but how to maintain or sustain the school, that's why the topic of Cherise, I really like it, the multi-generational. And then I told Cherise for PAPSCU Cares Year 2, we'll do succession planning. Diba? I don't know if I talk sense, but...
No, but the answers are actually just about, you know, everyone's talking about the fact that I think it's unfair to say that private schools do not deserve any support, or that we can say that all of these private schools
but of
are
course,
actually...
you know, it's foolish to say that we don't aim to have
Correct.
net income. But how would you be able to upgrade the benefits of your faculty? I have 12 of them here. They can attest to the fact that I share with them the net income of the school. Ayan, nag-oo sila. We're such a small school, pero for the...
Pwede naman i-share sa ating lahat.
Sana all daw. Sabi nyo, sana
Wag lang
all.
dun sa
Sabi nyo,
12. Okay,
Napakahabulin nga ako ng
sino dito ang
BIR,
gusto pa ng share?
Sige,
but
we even have
good, very good
the bonus
answers.
thing, ha?
So definitely, again, we were saying, that it's probably incorrect to say that all of private are actually elite schools, and that actually the idea of support from government does not really mean that, matagal na rin usapan to, are we supposed to just support always low income? Even now, in the discussions on the crisis, I think the middle income groups are also complaining. How come there is no support for them? It's always the low income. Anyway, there's a lot of discussion that we can get into. But siguro the last question for this round for everyone here. What are your biggest issues as family-owned? Anong pinakamalaking problema? Yung away ng magkakapatid.
And something that's siguro, you can share, something that's unique na may only be experienced by a family-owned.
Oo, unique to family-owned
para alam
schools.
ng ating mga
and then biggest issue.
nanonood. Siguro Royce can,
Yes.
Parang alam ko ang mga problema nila.
Yes, actually, it's we have a board. Marami kami sa board eh. So minsan the problem is with the mindset. So iba-iba yung isip ng mga may-ari. So nangyayari, there's often a disagreement. Then merong na-agrabyado siguro. So that's one issue. We have to resolve that. And sometimes there are some stockholders who are disgruntled by the decision of the majority. So nangyayari, merong ganon. Then we are worried. So second generation na kasi kami. So we should make sure the third, yung 3G na dapat hindi mag-aaway. So yun, it's the handing down the business to the next generation.
In short, family issues reaching the
and
boardrooms.
succession. Right.
So
Who wants to talk about their problems?
Therapy session pala si therapy.
Maybe growth and scale.
Wala dito si Michelle eh. Dapat andito si Michelle para ma-process kayo. Okay, yes, Charisse.
Growth and scale. If, of course, you'd like to create more impact. But as a community school, as a family-owned school, definitely there's limitations in that, in terms of capital, in terms of resources. And of course, you're also confined to how much tuition you can actually increase every year. So when you set a figure already to a certain market, it's quite difficult to expand that unless you put in more capital. So I guess growth and scale compared to other schools.
So this one is succession and making sure that, the family will have agreements, as to how to run the school. This is growth and scale.
Actually, I lean also towards the succession part and the survival really, mostly because of our location inside SBMA. No, it's parang may whole different government kami there. But especially now in this time, what's important kasi is sustainability. So our focus now is sustainability. And not just in our school, but also, kasi now we're talking about multi-generation in family-owned schools, in private schools, but meron din kasi the multi-generation in DepEd, in SHED. So it's not just, diba? It's not just the schools. Parang we're preparing for the next generation, also for DepEd and SHED. I'm very hopeful na with all what's happening now, and everybody knows the problem. There's PISA, there's EDCOM2, most especially. I'm really thinking na we're hopeful. Hopefully, there comes a time that we meet halfway. Even that part na we meet halfway. Not just for the family schools, but for the private and the public. Kasi it's really not just the survival of the family-owned schools, but for the private schools. So, sustainability on our end, and sustainability with the regulators, I suppose.
Interesting. I don't know if that's the correct term to use, no? Sustainability with the regulators.
For the lack of a better term.
Okay, sige.
Sige, ako, everything they said, I guess. It's interesting because yes. Oo. Kasi kami, challenges. Kasi kami, we're 3G. So starting with 6 founders, one of them was a priest, second generation, nag-multiply na kung ilan. By third generation, ilan na yon, di ba? And a number of us are very involved. So you can just imagine, my bosses in the board are also the people who are reporting to me. So medyo confusing yung part na yan. But again, I've been very, very lucky kasi UB kasi talagang family-oriented pa rin. But more than that, and in relation to what we were talking about, growth, expansion, etc., it's also this, I'll call it pressure for now, no? We've done okay in the last 80 years, I'd say. No? Overall okay. Ups and downs, but overall okay. So then what? What do we do next, right? You want to balance the tradition, what worked in the past, but you also want to understand the environment now, which is different from the environment 20, 30, 40 years ago. So which ones do you retain? Kasi nga, because of tradition, and which ones do you change? Terms right now are innovation, creativity, etc., etc. It's that balance that you have to strike that balance. So those things could potentially be challenges, especially if you're talking to 3Gs na medyo dumadami din. Ma'am?
Good point. So, Dr.
Challenges.
Cese, gusto mo bang
Parang walang
ulitin
challenge
natin
daw,
yung... Hindi, baka ulitin mo yung tanong daw. Game na. Dr. Cese, challenges.
The issue, actually, I'm really very fortunate because I have a very supportive family. And nobody's ambitious. Yeah, nobody's ambitious. They give MANCOM, the management committee, full trust because we have been operating SMCL based on the principles of transparency, accountability, and responsibility. Now, so on the level of families, there's no quarrel. In fact, nobody wants to be president. I really want to retire. You know, I'm 74, turning 75. I'm just giving myself a year. Gigi is my alter ego. She's turning 65. So, oh my God.
Oh my God,
the
sensitive
two prospects
personal
are
information.
retirable, right?
Batang-bata yung ano nyo, succession planning, 65 yung...
SPI.
My concern,
gen,
really my concern is because my dream is for St. Michael's to outlive all of us. So I'm really trying to win the support of the board because they're kind of close minds about partnership. Because we have to really embrace transformative education, even the way we run, the way we run our schools. Diba? Like from among the sharing this morning, yung kay Charisse na reframe, right? I think that's the biggest challenge of each one of us here when we go home. Let's think of the 3 R's of Charisse. Diba, Charisse? And sabi ko, oh my God, look at Charisse, the way she presented. She started with coffee. Pero kami, syempre, word for word, naka-PowerPoint. Right? So, she gave me a new perspective. Na, di ba, Doris, hindi ba, ikaw masyado kang, di ba, research-based.
No, because she also has a coffee shop.
I know.
That's why, that's the... Yeah.
Pero class
Because
naman
aside
siya,
from
right?
the school, they have a coffee shop. Next episode is next-gen coffee shop owners.
So, you know, you kind of draw
No, I think
parallelisms.
it's not about, we're not fighting about money. I really feel sad when I read the families are fighting over money when they have so much money.
Ay, nagagalit na siguro.
Right?
Huminahon tayo doon.
Teka, baka
Di ba,
may
it's
nanonood
so
yung taga-BIR.
Nawala tuloy, nawala. No, but the thing is,
Direct
the challenge,
cut yung part na yun.
no, the challenge for family-owned corporation, you know, we mean well, but the connection. Of course, if you're the Ayalas or if you're Del Rosario, right? I mean, yun doon lang talaga. The family-owned corporations, that's a setback. But in terms of delivery, we're world-class, right? We have all this certification, right? No, that for me is a setback. But my prayer is we should never quarrel about position and power and money. Right?
Talagang, Doris, kita mo talaga yung mga sagot nila, no? Very authoritative. First gen, second gen, iba. Kita mo yung perspective din ng mga young generations, sustainability. Di ba ganun, no? Yung concern ng mga older generations, how they will pass it.
So, sino yung
Sila
older?
Ako yun.
Hindi ko tinitingnan eh.
Anyway.
No, pero you see very,
I think
very
we
good
have,
takeaways. No?
But yeah, I think for those who are watching right now, I don't know if you're able to resonate with any of this. A lot of you here are family-owned institutions, private institutions. So I can imagine that some of the things that are being said may resonate, no, with your own institutions. So I think that's the uniqueness, no, of PAPSCU. I think in all the Kokope associations, and listening to what is being said right now by many of those who are here, no, I think it's very strong, no, that it's unfair for conclusions such as private are, for-profit institutions, or that, they're really not mission driven. I think those are not fair conclusions.
And there's really that
Listen to the
subsector no,
stories.
in the private education sector, yung mga hindi faith-based, yung not established by congregations, religious organizations, but family-owned.
And
Talagang may ganung
mission-driven.
sector.
But mission-driven. If you will listen to the mission.
Mission-driven din, but family mission or not the religious missions, no? Di ba?
Mission impossible.
Teka, hanggang doon na lang. Baka mamaya ibang mission na yan.
Okay, very strong naman, di ba?
Kasi sabi nung kanina, they multiply.
Courses, and then of course,
Sabi kanina, di ba?
Batangas,
We started as,
and
then
the
we
fact that
multiply.
We started Manila Times.
Yeah.
We start with, realizing that we can provide more, better in Baguio for the small private. And then of course, the mission from Binyan College, St. Michael's. Very interesting. Galing. Nakakatawa.
So palagi ko dapat merong part 2 ito. No?
Oo.
Kasi marami pa sa
Oo,
PAPSCU.
so lahat sila, iisa-isay
Oo,
natin. Itong mga
family-owned,
nandito, mga lima-lima silang aakyat dito para sa susunod na
Pila-pila,
Usapang
parang graduation.
Okay,
But
so,
no, seriously, I think we have to do another episode on this to really get into the details of so that I think a lot of them really can resonate, yung mga nanonood sa atin. They're into starting a small school or they have started a school. How will they survive? I think they should learn from many of our PAPSCU schools sa kanilang mga success stories. So,
so we will end with probably like what last message would you like
Short
to
message.
to send out there to all those who are watching Usapang Ed? Kasi ang mga tao dito, sabi nila, ano ba pinag-uusapan ng mga Hindi. No, one last message from each one of you here. Especially officers of PAPSCU, itong 5 na nandito.
Let's start with the president of PAPSCU.
Okay, I think the most important thing for us private schools, we just have to focus on our objectives and attain it, and just make it better. So once you achieve something, then do something better again next time. Just focus on your objectives.
For me, it's probably an invite to all schools here who are not yet part of PAPSCU, and even naunahan ko kayo and of course, those who are watching online through Spotify or even Facebook, to join us in PAPSCU. If you resonate with the issues and even the success stories you find here of family-owned schools, I think it's important for us to learn from each other and to band together to also fight for the causes that are very unique to family-owned private schools.
So similarly with Trace, I was gonna say, Miss Sam has our membership documents. Kasi it's important, PAPSCU is here for a reason. It's here because it caters to the private schools, colleges, and universities. Yeah, so it's that community na, as what Trace said, we have to band together. Because how else do we survive, diba? If we know who our competitors are, we have to help each other. So really, please join PAPSCU. Okay, Miss Sam has the papers.
She's waving on that side.
She's there. She's over there.
President
Yes.
of UB.
Hawak
Okay,
niya
we're
ang
hearing
beat.
UB now. So,
Yes. First of all, message of thanks for everyone who's here, di ba? Naka 400 po ata tayo, and then we have 300 online.
Online,
Opo, yes. Maraming salamat po. And it's not just your presence, of course. It tells us that we have the same mission. All of us, what do we really want? Quality education for our students, for the Filipino youth. And why do we all do that? Again, it's about our country. It's about national development. And again, for us in UB, back to where our founders were 80 years ago, it was about nation building. So, muli po, marami pong salamat na nandito po kayo sa University of Batangas.
so Lulu?
Well, mine is different. I've been very influenced by Miss Doris about her conviction in how we should run education, right? We want one Philippine education, but we demand that we be treated as equal, right? And Ang galing. You know, we had a mass in honor of Doris' dads. Even if Father Ray, was it Father Ray, didn't really say it well. But the thing is, right now we're in the stage na parang Good Friday, but after 3 days, we will rise and resurrect. Ngayon, kahit nakabla kaming dalawa ni Doris, ang aming kulay ay katulad ng mga nandoon, naka-pink, oh. Ha? Matagal pero mangyayari kung gagawin natin ang ating role bilang isang Pilipino. Thank you.
It's very nice.
Nice. Okay,
Ano, Doc D?
so Erap, wala, aalis kami rito, tapos tutuloy mo yung lecture
Oo
mo,
nga eh.
diba?
So, sa mga nanonood, of course, you can catch us on Spotify. Pasensya na, trabaho lang muna ako on Spotify, on YouTube. And of course, Usapang...
Hindi ako nagko-cooperate. Okay, so we'd like to invite you all to watch Usapang Ed. So we're showing this on Monday. Hindi ako nagko-cooperate, no, Erap?
Hindi ka na nagko-cooperate. Baka nakalimutan, magtatrabaho tayo dapat dito. So
And,
please watch our
yes, on
episode.
Monday.
Every Monday.
And Spotify also,
Spotify.
and YouTube, and then Facebook. Please do not forget to watch Usapang Ed. Tama yung ginagawa ni Cherise, ginagawa ko rin yun sa maraming podcast. While you're walking, you know, in the morning, you're jogging or whatever, you listen to Spotify. And then maririnig nyo kami ni Erap doon.
Yes.
Na sana matutuwa kayo. Sana lang naman. Pag hindi, i-off nyo.
Okay. So ano?
Okay na.
Thank you.
Part 2. Kailangan namin part 2. Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Hindi kasi natin sila binigyan ng chance magtanong, but it's so good.
Gagawa
Next
tayo
time,
ng
we'll do
ano,
a PAPSCU assembly.
Kailangan daw i-zoom.
Oo nga,
Mag-wave daw
pakita
kayo.
mo naman sila. Nag-live pa naman tayo dito.
Sa
Where's
may
the camera?
camera.
Can we show this? Can we do? Oh, there.
Ayan.
Ayan. So, okay.
Oh, so wave daw, wave sa camera.
Pero nakatalikod sila.
Parang ano parang TV show, oh.
Saan?
Parang wawawi, oh.
May nagbibideo ba?
Andun yung camera. Ba't kayo nagwe-wave sa monitor?
Cyrus is there. Look at
Andun ang
Cyrus.
camera. Kayo talaga, oh. Nagwe-wave dito sa monitor, eh. Doon kayo. Ayan. Okay. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Of course, muli nyo
Thank you,
na naman
everyone.
kaming
Thank you.
nakasama.
Thank
Si
you.
Doc D.
At si Attorney E.
Dito sa
Usapang
Ed. Yay. Maraming salamat.